Hey dog, you wanna go do some bushcraft? It's raining though. What do you say, you wanna go? Come on, let's go. Freshwater trout. If you guys know what that is in the comment section. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Outdoors with Unc. Today we are out in the slough, or marshland, or whatever you want to call it. And I'd like to welcome you guys to the start of my new series, Build a Fort Fridays. We're going to go out every Friday, different terrain, and try to build some form of survival shelter. New thing I'm also going to be trying to do at the end of every video, I will give the environment a survivability rating. Food, how easy it is to build a shelter, access to water, and overall climate. So make sure you stick around to the end and check out how long you think. Let me show you around. This is a marshland area. We're on the edge of a little freshwater creek here, which we're going to try to fish in a second. Little windy. There's some trees just across the way there. There's also a forest behind us. But you know, we can't go anywhere until we try to fish this pond. According to Google Maps, this little slough runs out that way into a bigger pond and into the ocean. We're going to go ahead and throw a rod and reel in there and see what happens. Well, you know I can't go somewhere new and not fish this little body of water. There's a little slough here that runs out to the bay, and it's probably 5-6 feet deep, and I'm just wondering if there's any fish. We got a rod, we got a worm. Let's give it a cast to see if there's anything in here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's a baby bass. Hooked him pretty good though. Oh, that ain't a bass. I believe this guy to be a freshwater trout. If you guys know what that is in the comment section, leave me a comment. But he's a baby, so I'm gonna let him go and let him grow. Cool. I know he was just a baby, but hopefully his big brother's in there and we can find him as well. Now, you can see him, he's taking it right now. They're just not hitting it hard enough. Can't quite get him. I think my hook's a little big. But every cast, I'm just getting nailed. You see him jumping. I think I might have found myself a new honey hole, boys. Might take the bobber off, go off of the bottom, but I don't have any weight on me, so. I mean, you can see I'm just getting nailed right off the bat, but they're nibbling it. I think a smaller hook would be the way to go. I mean, instant. As soon as it hits the water. Oh, I got him. All right. If y'all know what kind of trout that is, go ahead and leave me a comment, because I'm not sure. But I mean, this hole is just loaded with them. These guys are pretty sensitive, so I'm gonna let him go. Hopefully he grows up to be a big boy. Well, that was fun, but let's head into the forest and see if we can do some bushcraft. We'll check this out before I go for sure. There's not a lot out in the flat, so we're gonna head into the woods and look for a little bit better area to build. There's not much material. We're kind of just wide open out here in the slough. So we're gonna head inland, see what we can find. There's a pretty decent spot here. If I was gonna throw up a sleeping bag, it'd be under the north side of this wayward pine. And but we're gonna hopefully do a little bit better than that. So let's head to the forest and see what we can do. I don't know, I've been hiking about 10 minutes into the woods, and as you can see, there's a down tree here behind me, down tree there, and this guy fell, and he is wedged in between these two taller trees. And my plan of attack for this is to just build a lean-to. There's tons of down trees. We got a lot of wind that comes through here. So I think what I'm going to do is just gather some wood and try to throw together a lean-to. I don't want to use any rope if I don't have to, because I don't like leaving it out here. So if I use the rope, I gotta tear down what I do. But if I can get something up and not have to use any rope, that's the plan. But this is our spot. Got the down tree here. Little bit of soggy ground. Like I said, we're in a swamp, so we're gonna build a little bit, and I'll be back with you in a second. Well, we got the frame up. Not bad, not bad. But needs a roof. So we're gonna go ahead and put a roof on her and get right back with y'all. Alright, so this is our shelter. It originally started as just a lean-to, but it quickly grew into a solid A-frame. As you can tell, there is ample room inside. Obviously, we're nowhere near waterproof. It was a struggle to find foliage that would actually cover. But it is large, and it would easily, in a real survival scenario, I would have absolutely built it smaller. This is the inside here. I cleared out the bottom. There is tons of brush that was in here. The ground is relatively dry where I chose to build at. If I was going to try to make it waterproof, I would just keep layering on brush, but there's not a lot of brush to layer on. Build time was approximately 3 hours, and it's pretty stealthy. It just looks like a big pile of brush. There's my entrance there. That's it. Just a survival shelter in the swamp. Well, let's talk about survivability. Out here at the Washington coast, it doesn't snow a whole lot. We're not going to get down to 20 degrees. But we do get an abundance of rain and high winds. We get 40-mile-an-hour gusts on the regular. So high winds and rain are an issue. You'd have to really waterproof your shelter, and you're going to have to worry about ground flooding as well. Climate, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Next up, let's talk about food. There is a lot of wild edibles around here. We have fiddleheads, and we have lots of berries. We have huckleberries and blackberries all summer long. And as you guys noticed earlier, I was able to pull out a little brook trout out of that stream. That stream will provide fresh water. I think it's relatively clean. I would want to boil it or run it through at least a life straw. But water and food, I would say solid 8 out of 10. The only reason why I give it an 8 is because most of it is seasonal. You're not going to be getting a lot of blackberries or wild edibles in the winter and fall months. Let's talk about how easy it was to build a shelter. Well, today it took me about 3 hours to build the shelter behind me. And the only problem I really ran into out here in the swamp is everything's soaked. All of your building materials, or most of your building materials, are just really wet, and it's hard to build. Some of the stuff you think you can use is too waterlogged and rotted out. There's also not a whole lot of good trees. Those big hemlocks or cedars with something with a lot of foliage that you would like to cover the roof of your shelter to help kind of seal in some of that heat and warmth, or even shade depending on where you're at, just isn't readily available here. You can kind of make do with what you got, but I guess for as far as ease to build a shelter, I'm going with 7 out of 10. There are lots of easier places to find dry ground and build a little bit better of a quality of shelter. So overall, how long do I think I could survive out here? Well, it all depends on the time of year. If it was, you know, June, July, August, early fall, I could easily spend a summer out here. You know, the hardest part for me about survival is ADD and boredom. So I'd probably go crazy. But I think depending on the time of year, even a rookie survivalist could make it 2 to 3 months without much problem. Alright everybody, this has been Outdoors with Unc, reminding you, go outside. It's good for your soul.